Well, hello again. This is Trey Clanton. If you've seen my channel, you know that I bought a 1951 Ford F1, old Rusty, and this will hopefully be the power plant for Rusty. This is a 5-liter Ford motor. Let's see if we can see here. Here we go. It's a 5-liter Ford motor out of a 1999 Mercury Mountaineer. If you strip this motor down, this is basically a small block Ford 302 block, crank, rods, and heads, which is pretty much all we're going to keep off of this motor. These heads are called GT40Ps. Let's see if we can see. I don't know if there's enough light underneath here to see, but there's 4 bars on the back of these heads. Here's 1, 2, 3, 4. Get a better shot of those once they're off and you can see them better, but they're GT40P heads from about 97.5. They started putting GT40P heads on these motors, and so that's what we've got. So Ford 5-liter, basically it's a 302. It's 4.9 something rather cubic centimeters or liters, and so we're going to strip it. We're going to get it down to basically the heads and the block, and then we're going to start from there and we're going to build it back up. This particular one, of course, for that year model, it's fuel injected, 1 fuel injector for each cylinder. Have a standard fuel injection concept these days, and it's all computer controlled, as you can see by these wonderful computer plugs and wiring harness plugs, and all that'll go away. We're going to run an MSD distributor, an ignition, 6AL ignition from MSD. We're going to run atomic EFI, which is a throttle body fuel injection system, so it'll be on a stock, it'll be on an Edelbrock manifold. We're going to go, this particular motor has got roller lifters. We'll look at those when we get down to it. And we're going to put Scorpion roller rockers on it. Chrome valve covers, chrome water pump plate, excuse me, yeah, chrome timing cover. Yeah, we're going to doll it up a bit. I think we're going to use the stock oil pan on it. This is we're going to put it on there for now at least. This is a 225 horsepower motor, the way it sits right here. We're hoping to get about 325 out of our rebuild with a new cam, we're going to pour and polish the heads, get a little out of that. Add a windage tray to the under the crank to help get a couple little horsepower out of there, and we're just going to try to milk the horsepower of this thing wherever we reasonably can. So ultimately, this hopefully will be the power plant for the Ford F1. Here's a look at the transmission for the Ford F1. It's a T56 Tremec T56 6-speed manual transmission. It's been rebuilt. It's got a scatter guard for bell housing, and that hopefully is going to fit the 302. I meant to check it before I put it on the engine stand, but we'll check it later. It's supposed to fit a 302, so we'll assume it's going to. Anyway, this one I want to give credit, fellow on Facebook, Archiflix, Archiflix, I believe it is, or C, I'm not sure, but I'll link him here in the video. He did a Ford 302 budget rebuild using it was a 97 5-liter motor. He's done a couple. I think one of them was GT40 heads and the other one was GT40Ps, but it's, you know, I credit him with giving me the idea and concept of using this block as a frame for a Ford 302, you know, a little bit higher horsepower motor. It's not going to be anything over the top. We're not looking to tear the truck apart with too much power. We just want to have enough that when we get on it, we're heard and we're known. And I think, like I said, looking at 3 to 325 at the flywheel, hoping for 300 at the wheels on the truck. It's kind of my goal. I'm not sure how realistic it is, but time will tell. And another thing we're going to include in this series, we're also going to build an engine run stand so that we can run this motor. And when we build that engine run stand, it's also going to be a welding project for my daughter for the fair. And so you'll see that as we go. Hopefully it'll culminate in a good engine run stand, and something that she can take to fair and hopefully win with. So that's pretty much it. I'm going to start tearing it down here in the coming days, and I'll keep up with you as we go. I'm going to try to sell as many of these parts as I reasonably can. I mean, here's the intake for a 5-liter. It's throttle body. There's ignition coils up here that, you know, again, they're used. They're going to be as is. There's a set of exhaust headers, and, you know, a lot of little parts, wiring harness, things like that. We'll see what we can do with it. Maybe we can get something out of it. It's not going to do me any good. Felt like I got a pretty good deal on this motor. $500 with a guarantee, but as soon as I start stripping parts, the guarantee's void. So I gave him $350, no guarantee, basically as is. So taking a bit of a risk, but I think, well, the risk came either way. I mean, if I took it, started stripping it apart, and found it was tore up on the inside, I was still not going to get anything out of a warranty on it. So that's the risk you take when you buy a motor from a junkyard and choose to tear it apart, which I'm doing. So we'll see. It's a good deal until it turns out to be a bad deal. Let's put it that way. Anyway, so that's what we got for a driveline for our Ford F1 pickup truck. We'll get back with you as we start tearing it apart, and got some things to show you. Y'all take care. Bye-bye. Well, it's been a productive day with this motor. Managed to get most of the trash off of it that I'm not going to keep. The heads are off as well. I'm going to keep them, but they're off. They're down here, and I'm going to start working on those a little bit later. But where we at? We got the all the front apart, intake. Apologize, the light's not real great, but got all the front off, got all the intake off, took the heads off, all the wiring's off. I still have to take off the engine mounts on both sides, and taking the timing gears off. Took the cam out, took the spider and the lifters out. So the lifter system's all removed. Gonna get new lifters, and see what else we've got going here. Checked all the bores, and the bores look really good. No scarred bores that we can see, at least with the pistons in. Turn the motor over and check them, and they look real good. That was kind of my biggest concern. I wanted to get down to that this evening, so I could sleep better tonight, knowing the bores are in good shape. So we got the harmonic balancer off, all those goodies. And get a new harmonic balancer, new timing gear set from Chloe's, new cam, new lifters, and ultimately we're going to get new pistons to go on these rods. And next thing to do is we'll take off the oil pan, and then we can flip the motor over without making too big a mess. Drain the oil, but there's still plenty of oil in it. Drip everywhere. So get the oil pan off, another day or two, and flip it over, start breaking the pistons off the crank, and take the mains off, pull the bearings, pull the cam, or pull the crank rather, and pull the pistons and get everything stripped down. The block is going to go to local machine shop and get them to board over 30,000s probably, and then we'll get new 30,000s over pistons, rings, and start going back together with it here after that's all done. The heads, I'm not sure what I'm going to do with the heads yet. They need to be rebuilt, obviously, but trying to decide if I'm going to rebuild them or get them rebuilt. I want to get them ported and polished, so I'm trying to decide if that's a task I want to take on or not. undecided yet. So that's where we're at, and we'll get back with you again in the next phase.